Bookkeeper versus accountant versus CPA. Yo, what's good, y'all? My name is Akila. I am a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. I am the founder of Millennial Gems Bookkeeping. And today I just wanted to talk about the differences between the three different roles there. So sometimes you may hear the the three of those names maybe sometimes like interchangeably, kind of like maybe sometimes thrown around, but they are actually different. They are, three different roles. So what I'm gonna do today is just gonna go through what the differences are between the three of these roles. All right. So a bookkeeper. So a bookkeeper is what I am. So the primary role of a bookkeeper is to handle the day-to-day recording of financial transactions. Everything that comes in through the ledger from your bank account, from your credit cards, that's what we handle. We categorize all of that. The responsibilities are to record income and expenses, manage accounts receivable and accounts payable, reconcile statements and bank accounts, prepare financial reports. So, um, recording your income and expenses, essentially, like I just said, everything that's coming in and out, any sales you may have, any expenses, office supply expenses that you may have, we record that, we categorize it for you. We manage accounts receivable and accounts payable. Accounts receivable is just like invoices that maybe your client, invoices that your client, that people pay your client, and then accounts payable is the money um, your client owes to somebody else, or money you owe somebody else. So that's accounts payable. Reconciling bank statements. So whether you want them monthly, quarterly, yearly, we reconcile those statements and then we prepare those financial reports, the P&Ls, the balance sheet, the cash flow statements. So that's essentially the primary responsibilities of a bookkeeper. Some of the qualifications. There's not really any real qualifications, certifications that are actually required. However, there are bookkeeping certifications, like I mentioned at the top of this video here, that I am a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. So I could probably go ahead and get into bookkeeping without doing it, but just in case somebody may ask, well, what makes you certified to do my bookkeeping? What makes you an expert at it? Well, I have that badge there that says, and I have a certification that hangs up that says I am certified to handle level 1 QuickBook um, task. So, and then mastery of an accounting software. So, you have QuickBooks, you have Zero. Most people, probably majority of people, are going to be using QuickBooks. Um, I think it's just I think it's simple platform to understand. It elevates. It's always, innovating and coming up with like newer things, newer tools, newer ways to do things. So it's always elevating and innovating. So I think it's a great software to master. But essentially, that's what bookkeepers need to do. As far as like qualifications, you don't really need certification per se, but you do want to make sure you are mastering an accounting software. So the official scope of work, kind of in a nutshell, is to focus on accuracy and organization of that financial data. So your job as a bookkeeper, my job as a bookkeeper, is to simply just organize, categorize all of the financial transactions that come in through onto a ledger. Simple as that. Now, an accountant. Now, bear with me, guys. I am no expert. I am just giving you guys basic level surface information here. So, again, I am not an accountant whatsoever. I know nothing about taxes. I can give you, again, basic information on taxes, but I can't tell you a whole lot. I'm not advising, not consulting, none of that. I don't do any of that. Just bookkeeping, strictly bookkeeping. But from my research, an accountant, the primary role is to analyze, interpret, and provide insight into, you know, financial data. Some of their responsibilities go from preparing financial statements, ensuring compliance with tax laws and regulations, and advising on financial strategies. So you might be able to kind of look at an accountant and then like a CPA almost as like one and the same. But when I show you the next slide, I guess there actually might be like I think there's only like a slight difference between like just a regular accountant and then, like a CPA, even though I think they are roughly about the same thing. But, again, if any of you who are accountants out there, um, let me know in the comments if I have anything wrong. Again, like I am no expert at this stuff. I am literally just trying to give just basic level surface information. So if there's anything wrong or needs to be corrected, please, 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 please feel free to say something in the comments for any corrections for my knowledge and for the audience's knowledge. Okay, so qualifications. Typically, accountants will need to hold a degree in accounting or in some related field. And, they may have like a certification like a CMA, which is a certified management accountant. And so, to my understanding, certified, there's this, you can go for a certified management accountant, or you can go for the certified public accountant. And I guess from what I determined was the difference was one kind of does like just general like accounting things like they like if you any like average citizen who needs like their taxes done, you go to a CPA, um and they'll do that. A regular accountant, they'll handle all that. And then you have like the CMA, which I understood and read as I guess it handles more, I guess, internal affairs of a company. So you kind of talking to like the internal like managers of a company about you know financial strategy and statements and kind of the financial health of the business. So that's kind of what I understood from the difference between CMA and CPA. Again, just basic level information. If I have anything wrong, all you accountants, all you CP, out there, just let me know whatever is wrong and needs to be corrected. But again, I'm just a bookkeeper. So again, just giving basic level surface knowledge. So essentially, the scope of what an accountant does is, to just provide interpretation and strategic recommendations. So that's what I understand for an accountant. They can handle all the tax needs and stuff like that. Um, so next. All right. So the certified public accountant. So again, this here I think is literally probably very minuscule difference between the last slide. I think this is literally just CPA is just more, I guess, advanced. Like I was saying, like there's the two routes you can take, the CMA or the CPA. Um, but I guess a CPA, is I guess it's a little bit more advanced. It is a little bit more so like the primary role is to give more advanced expertise and provide higher authority, and you have higher authority in accounting. So some responsibilities would be performing audits. Now we know the IRS does audits, but I'm assuming that, you know, CPAs, they do like their own auditing of financial statements of people's, financial statements as well, just to kind of make sure that they're, compliant with, what the IRS is looking for and making sure that they're not going to find the client or whoever, in trouble with the IRS. Um, They're representing clients before the IRS and tax dispute. So again, like I was saying, with the performing the audits, making sure if the IRS does need to audit you or whoever, that the CPA will be there as your representation when it comes to any tax disputes. So any money you may owe or any money you may be owed, the CPA would be in your corner. Preparing and reviewing complex tax returns. I'm not sure exactly what complex tax returns may look like, but just again, tax returns. Again, that's what a CPA. I'm looking at that's what a CPA does. That once you get your taxes at the end of the year or the top of the year, and you're ready to file them, obviously you bring them to your accountant, and they will file them for you and offer high level financial planning and consulting. So, I've always heard the term, and this is shout out to like, Carter Cofield, somewhere like, and Carlton Dennis, two guys that I do follow that, have mastered like the tax game, and I learned from them about like taxes and stuff like that. But there are tax preparers and then there are tax strategists. And so, the preparers are typically just the ones who will, when your taxes come in, they'll take them, they'll file them, boom, job finished. But then you have the tax strategists who literally probably sit down with you, not just when taxes come in, but maybe throughout like the entire year through tax season, which I think is um, January to May or June, I think. And then June to December, kind of just doing a little bit more. It's not, I don't want to call it like tax off season, but like, essentially you're just able to sit down with a strategist and you're able to kind of find where those deductions are. Like you're surfing through trying to find ways to make your tax bill, um, pay the least amount on your taxes for the, previous year. So that's how I, come to understand what the responsibilities of what a CPA does. Some of the qualifications, kind of like I mentioned with the accountant, yeah, you have to have either CMA or CPA. But for this one, for a CPA, you have to take the CPA exam. You have to must maintain licensure through continuing education. I don't know how true that is. If it is, then that's what it is. But the basic scope of what CPAs would do is to specialize in taxes, auditing, and advisory services. So any questions you have about like your taxes, taking deductions as business owners, you got to run that by your CPA. So essentially, those are kind of like the three differences there with, um, bookkeeping, a bookkeeper versus accountant versus a CPA. Even though accountant and the CPA are roughly about the same thing, just one just might be a higher tier depending on what exactly, um, which route you choose to go. But I look at them as like one and the same. But a bookkeeper definitely is kind of just like they're below the accountants. Like they just do the categorizing, and after that, the client, business owner will just give their financial statements to uh, the CPAs and the accountants to file them for taxes. So if you guys did find some value in this video, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications for when the next video drops. And I will see y'all on the next one.